on the set in 3, 2, 1, going live.
All right, everybody, we've got a great group today. I'm Mel Craig.
I'm Don Ramsey.
And welcome to another episode of HB Unplugged. And we've got
Unplugged. Yeah.
Look what we got sitting next to you.
Butch Twining, dude.
So we got not only a city councilman, but not only a good friend, but city councilman and a local.
Yes.
He's been here for a lot of years. So,
60 years.
Yeah.
1965.
That's when you came in.
Yes.
Well, let's give a big hand to Butch and welcome him on board. And everybody out there, yeah, okay, calm down. All you ladies, sit back down, please.
Girls, calm down, ladies. Calm down.
Really.
So Butch went to Marina.
Yeah, cool.
He went to Marina High School.
Class of 74.
Yeah, he was right behind. Well, I was class of 70. He was class of 74.
Wow.
So that makes me a little more older than
No, we'll just a little more ripe. A little more ripe, yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I was class of 75. You know how fast the years go by. So, but I know Rick has a lot of questions for you, and you and Rick have actually worked really closely, and Don, getting you into office and stuff like that. We don't really get into politics or religion here, but we really want to talk about what you're doing for the community and what the community has done for you, and that's really what this show is all about. And let the community know who Butch Yang, who you are and what you're all about.
But before we dive into that, let's talk a little about his family.
Yeah, so the first thing we always start the show with is we want to hear a little bit about your family and your wife, the kids, and grandkids, or whatever you've got. And what you can share with us means a lot. So, and again, it's just to let the world out there of Huntington Beach know who you are.
Great. Well, thank you.
All right, good job, Butch. Let's switch up.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on your show, and I appreciate it. Like I say, I've been in Huntington Beach since 1965. My parents moved on to Davenport Island and brought me along when I was about 8 years old. And I went to all the local schools. In fact, when we moved into Huntington Harbor, Harborview wasn't even built yet.
Oh, yeah.
And so all the kids, it was under construction, but all the kids that lived in the harbor at that time went to different schools. Some went to Havenview, which is now, I think, like Grace Lutheran's private school over on it's over on Edinger and Bolsa Chica.
That was Robinwood.
No, Robinwood was off of McFadden.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about off Edinger, Mr. HB.
Okay, well,
Don got caught.
thought that's what he said.
No, you're wrong. Anyway, I went to Village View until Harborview was done being built, and Harborview was done by the time I was going into the 5th grade, and so I was the very first class to go to Harborview.
Wow,
and in fact, my claim to fame was I was the very first kid to step foot inside of Harborview the day that it opened up, the morning that it opened up.
Wow.
All of us kids, we all ride our bikes there, and we're all excited going into a brand spanking new school, and we were all going around rattling the doors, seeing if we could be the first one inside. And all the doors were locked, but I found the one unlocked door. And so I opened the door and looked around me, and I went running through the hall, and the principal, his name was Mr. Lesher.
Wow, I can't believe you remember that.
Oh, yeah. And I remember him coming out of his office and chasing me, and I went down a hallway and out a door, and I said, I was the first in Harborview. So that's my claim to fame.
I was a rebel.
Yeah. So, and another fun point of interest was I've been telling some of my fire department friends that they actually came to me and were telling me that the Warner Fire Station down there on Warner and PCH is sinking into the ground. I'm going, and they go, and also, we have a weird smell there sometimes. And I go, well, did you know that and you guys probably don't even know this, because I can tell you Chris Epting didn't even know this when I called him last week looking for pictures. I said, that used to be a sewer. That was a fully operational, there's a fully operational sewer there where the fire department is, and
I didn't know that.
And where the beach club, where the Huntington Harbor Yacht Club is. That was a sewer, full blown. And
do you know that, Don?
Well, I used to go there when it was a dirt bike track before it was the harbor.
Okay, well, I'm talking about right there at Warner and PCH. That was a sewer. And so I called Epting up one day last week, and I said, hey, do you have any old pictures from the early to mid 60s of PCH and Warner, and he goes, maybe. He goes, why? And I'm going. I told him. I said, you know where the fire station is there, right? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, that used to be a sewer. And he goes, no way.
And it's sinking.
And I go, is there something I know about Huntington Beach that Chris Epting doesn't know? And he goes, this is unbelievable. I'm going to call you right back. And within 5 minutes, he had emailed me pictures, aerials from 1965, and he'd put a circle around, or a square around it. And he goes, is that it right there? I'm going, that's it. So anyway, that's just a little bit of trivia for
there's more trivia.
All right,
than that,
well,
'cause
let's get back. I want to get back to his family. Let's talk about your wife and kid. Let's
So
talk.
anyway, I grew up in the harbor. When I graduated from Marina High School in 1974, I enlisted in the United States Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome. And I went into the military, went into the Air Force, and I was in the Air Force from 1974 to 1977. When I got out of the Air Force, I came back to Huntington Beach as fast as I could because I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, and immediately started college at Long Beach State. Went to work for my father in a family business called Twining Laboratories.
We know it
well. People used to say, "Is that your family business?" I go, "No, I was just lucky to have the right last name to go to work. It was just total coincidence." And I started
fourth generation, though, right?
Yeah, fourth generation. And I worked there for 45 years.
Wow.
Eventually, I bought the company after my father passed away in 2000. And I bought the company, and I became the official owner in June of 2000. And I retired at the end of December 2021. My wife, Dana, she's my second wife, and I always call her my favorite wife.
Right, cool.
Even though I love my first wife, and we're still really, really good friends. In fact,
that's good.
In fact, we tried to fix my first wife up with my second wife's ex-husband, and it didn't work out. Yeah.
The tango webs we weave.
Yeah. And I had to tell him.
I see now that Cupid arrow.
And I had to tell him, I understand the problem. So he says, I don't think her and I are going to get along. I go, I get it. So, and between all of us, between my second wife and my first wife, we have 4 children. My favorite wife, we have 1, and obviously he's the youngest. I have a son from my first wife, Ann, and then I have my stepson from Dana's first marriage, and they're almost exactly the same age. So we called them step twins growing up. And when I married Dana, the boys were 7 years old. Both of them were 7, and then she had an 11-year-old daughter. And then she, right after we got married, she got pregnant, and we had a baby. She had a baby right away. We had a baby right away, and that's Jake. Jake's now 27 years old.
Where's the time go?
He's living in Dallas. He graduated from SMU with his master's in business, and all the kids have all gone to college and all graduated. They're all doing very well. My daughter's in the movies.
Well, they had good leadership.
They did. I cracked the whip. Now, my wife would laugh about that because she says she was the one that always was cracking the whip, but it was really me. And so, I worked for 45 years. I got 4 great kids. I got my favorite wife, great wife. After I retired in December of 2021, I bought a brand spanking new. I never was going to buy a new RV, but I thought I'd reward myself. And so I bought myself a new RV. It's a 45-foot bus. It's called an Integra Cornerstone. And we traveled. We traveled for 6 months.
Wow.
And we came back we would come back and, see the grandkids, because I do have grandkids. I'll get to them.
Yeah.
I have 4 of them. And we'd come back, see the grandkids, and then we'd take off again. And so we did pretty much just the western part of the United States. So, it's Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Oregon, Washington.
What's interesting about that is that there's so many countries people want to go to, but there's so much that all the same people who travel all over the world have never even traveled in their own backyard. The United States has so much to look at.
You and I must have talked about this, because that's my biggest pet peeve with my favorite wife. She wants to go all over Europe. She wants to go everywhere. Let's get on a plane. Let's go to Ireland. Let's go to Scotland. Let's go to, Norway. Let's go, go. I go, we haven't even seen the entire United States yet. And another thing I'll say, the best thing about getting in an RV is you see the United States from ground level.
From the road.
When you're in an airplane flying to Washington, D.C. or Florida or wherever you're going to go, you're looking down and you're 36,000 feet up. In the RV, you see everything. You see it all, and it's fantastic. And I'm going to miss doing that because I'm running, my new life, being in city government is really taking up a lot of my vacation time or time I would have taken, would have had to take vacations. And so, right now I'm not doing a lot of RV. And in fact, my RV's up for sale and my wife's not happy about that. But I go, we don't, the last time we went anywhere, today's July 25th, last time we were gone was on an RV trip was in February.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, you said you retired in 2021. Was that because of COVID?
No.
Did that have anything to do with it?
No. I turned 65 in September of 21.
And it was, no matter what, you were going to end up doing that anyway.
I told my executive staff at Twining, I said, you either buy me out or I'm going to sell. And I told them that when I was 60. I said, I'm going to get out when I'm 60. Because my father kind of worked all the way up until, he got sick and passed away. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to work until I die.
Yeah.
I want to do things. I didn't know I was going to do what I'm doing now, but I'm actually having a good time at it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So that's
grandkids?
4 grandkids, ranging in age from 7.
You had to sell the company. You needed the bucks.
I did. Yeah.
You needed the cash.
Yeah. No, I got grandkids from 8 to 1.
Wow.
One girl, she's the middle. She's kind of the middle. She's 3, and then boys that are 8, 5, and 1.
Oh, wow.
So,
Unreal.
and the 1-year-old and the 3-year-old live in Huntington Beach. My son, one of my boys, lives here in Huntington Beach, and another one lives in Norco, and he has the 2 older boys.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. And I know Rick's chomping at the bit with some questions. So,
no, it's interesting that you're talking about trivia, and we're talking about the different islands in Huntington Harbor. But Butch, you started talking about before the names, so give us a little share what that story was.
Back in the olden days, when I was very young,
olden days, I know,
slightly younger than
like we came over in a wagon train.
Don, Don was still on his way across the country in his wagon. The islands didn't have names back in the 60s and the early 70s. They had numbers.
Oh,
and the first island was Gilbert. The second island is now called Admiralty. So the first island was we just called them the first island, second island, third island, fourth island. Trinidad was still a dream, hadn't even been thought about. And so Gilbert was the first island, Admiralty was the second island, Davenport was the third island, and Humboldt was the fourth island. When Trinidad did start getting built, it became the fifth island. Everybody called it the fifth island. We didn't call it Trinidad. And so and Trinidad was built like in the mid-'70s. And so we were still using numbers way back when. And when I see all my old Huntington Harbor friends, we still say, oh, God, we had so much fun on the third island. And we had, it was such a great group of kids. And I go, wait a minute, it's Davenport Island. I have a hard time today calling it Davenport or calling Gilbert, instead of calling it the first island, I have to call it Gilbert. Or Admiralty's second island. And so I still often refer to the numbers. Even Trinidad is the fifth island.
Wow, what a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
interesting concept.
Isn't it?
When you think about the development, I lived in Carlsbad, and we all got in an uproar because they changed Carlsbad Village Drive from Elm. We loved Elm. Elm Street was like, that's Main
Americana.
That's Main Street USA in Huntington Beach, right? Elm Street was it. All of a sudden, they wanted it to be Carlsbad Village Drive. Like everything was happening in Orange County. They wanted to happen down in San Diego. So
I can tell you though, back in last year, so this
Don's about ready to fall asleep with you.
Butch,
No, I'm not.
Jump in there anytime you want. Don.
Butch retired, but he didn't retire from doing a lot of work. Last year, including meet and greets and everything else, we did about 154 events, and we were all over the place. And this guy never stopped. He was working his tail off the entire time. And I don't think you stopped since you've been in office.
Well, to be fair, I'm the only one that ran last year. I was with Chad Williams and Don Kennedy. They both still work. I had nothing but time, so what am I going to do today? So my day was, and Rick obviously will recall this very fondly, is we had offices. We had offices that were next door to each other over on Graham.
Yeah.
And
I've been over there.
Yeah. And Rick had the campaign office, quote unquote, and I had my little office that I was doing business out of there, because I do have a little business going right now where I'm kind of a small time commercial building landlord. I have four buildings that I kind of manage. Everybody pays their rent. All I have to do is make sure they pay their rent, and I pay the taxes, and it's all good. So I was running my little business out of there, and but I was using it. And the truth be told, I'm pretty sure I moved in there, and I only wanted an office. I hadn't even decided to run for public office, and so it was just going to be my office. And Rick, I think you were using it for something else too before we got active.
And we just transitioned everything into the campaign office at the time.
So they just became two big campaign. Well, Rick had a bigger office than I did.
Yeah, you couldn't tell because of all the pictures and all the maps and.
Well, we had everybody. We had a big.
Boy, I know there's not an inch of his walls that aren't covered with something.
But you know what he didn't have that I had? What? I had 3 big screen TVs
Yes.
I had a little man cave going over there, and it used to drive my wife crazy. She goes, "You don't even want to. You don't even want to be around me when you're retired anymore." And I said, "No, because you told me. I told you when I retired, I'm going to be here every single day. We're going to go to Pier Bar together. We're going to go to 24-hour fitness together. I'll take you out and play golf. We're going to go movies." And she goes, "No, I don't want to do all that stuff." So I said, I had to go find myself a place, and I turned it into a
man cave.
It was a man cave.
Your escape.
It was an escape.
Yeah.
But he utilized it to meet a lot of people in the community, and I think that paid off, because up until 2020, Tito had the most votes in history. This gentleman right here has the second most votes in the history of the city.
Wow.
So that's from a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Yeah. So but I did know a lot of people. I'm a big golfer, and I think everybody in here knows I'm a big golfer. And I've been a member over at the Huntington Club, also formerly known as Seacliff Country Club.
Seacliff.
And I've been there since 1997. I was the president of the club for 4 years, and then I had held other various board positions over there, rules and greens, tournaments, all that type of stuff. And in 2020, 2021, well, maybe even 22, we had over 700 members there.
Wow.
The management of the golf course way oversold the membership. There were 700 members there, and I spent a lot of time there. I take clients to play golf all the time, but I knew people there because I was in the political arena of the club. And so I got to know a ton of people over there. And in fact, when we started having our campaign meet and greets, I had so many people from the club that wanted to do them, just didn't have enough time to do them all, because Rick was out arranging them, and our volunteers were out arranging them. And when he says we did 150 plus events, it was people's homes, it was restaurants, it was churches, it was parks, it was everything you can imagine.
Don and I attended quite a few of those.
Oh, yeah.
We were there. Yeah, we saw some. By the way, you're going back to the golf course. That was the golf course we had a car show at.
Did you?
Yeah, we actually pulled. They actually pulled us onto the around the greens. Yeah.
I remember that.
It was about, it was about 100 hot rods that they had us. We were able to go. They said, "Hey, Mel, can you get some cars together? We want to have an event here." I forget what the event was, but then we put the.
I remember that. And I don't remember what the event was either, but we need to do that. Yeah. They're trying to find things to bring the community together.
There's the man right there. Let's do buses. Let's do buses.
Yeah.
Do I have to talk?
Yeah, let's do buses. Let's do the buses.
Yeah,
and the buses
we
aren't.
can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the buses don't. They're not allowed to wait, because after we left, you should see. golf course had all these little sinkholes in from all the cars.
Well, we do it in the summertime when there's no when the ground's nice and
hard.
Yeah. But we should do. I mean, I will help put it together.
Well, there's the man right there. I'll help you, Don.
I'll help you put it together.
Yeah, that'd be a cool place to have a.
Not only was Butch the president of the golf, but he's an avid golfer, but he also lives on the golf course.
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah,
I live actually.
I've been to his house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I live on the 15th fairway.
Yeah. Nice place.
Yeah, I love it. It's going through a big remodel. I should say remodel. We just repainted. Just got that done, and then we have some other projects going right now.
How many golf balls end up in your patio? Does it happen very often, or are you in the middle?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. Yep. We have a big vase out there on our bar. It's huge, and it's full of golf balls. When we fill it up, because we just pick them up. It's like an Easter egg hunt out there. We just pick them up, put them in the vase, and then we give them out to people. Like my sit
there and have a couple drinks in the patio and throw. Hey, you want an extra ball? Here you go.
I've been sitting in my yard and a ball comes flying in there, and I'll take the ball. It'd be obviously it's out of bounds.
My God, thank God you're not getting hit.
No,
that's what I always think about the house.
And you'll throw it back on the greens.
I throw it back out there.
You got a good lie. I gave you a good lie.
I said you are so lucky. It bounced right off my head, right back out there.
You're sitting good right there.
Yeah. I did that the other day. I don't know if you guys know Tim Todd. He's a big local. He used to be a pro golfer, and he hit one out of bounds. And I happened to be sitting out. He hit one into my yard, and I heard it hit. And I think it hit one of our heaters, our space heaters out there, because it went clang. And I'm going, where'd that thing go? And then I see the ball, and I went and picked it up, and I see Timmy Todd driving over in a golf cart, looking. I heard it hit something. He goes, oh. But he's too honest.
Throw it out and say, hey, there's a good 7 iron shot.
Yeah. I know he's too honest. He told his partner, he goes, hey, we're in trouble. You better win this hole.
That's cool.
So. But Butch, not only you play golf in Huntington Beach, but you've had an opportunity to play at many of the golf courses, some of the best ones in the country.
I'm lucky that I know people from Seacliff, now called THC, that belong to some very nice courses across the country, and they're my friends. And over the years, they've invited me to go. Just a couple weeks ago, the PGA tournament was played at Oakmont, in just outside of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And I've got to play Oakmont probably 20 or 30 times, to the point where I just don't even want to go back there anymore. It's a long trip, and I love Huntington Beach so much.
Very long course too.
It is.
Yeah.
It has the longest par 3 in the PGA Tour.
Very long.
305. But I always tell people when I go on these vacations, whether I'm going to Dallas or Pittsburgh or Rome or Switzerland or France, my favorite day of all vacations is coming back to Huntington Beach.
All right.
I don't see any reason.
God, don't we love to hear that, Don?
Yeah. You're in a big golf tournament next Monday.
And
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday. He's going to, actually, our host here is going to drive me and drop me off at Meadowlark, unless you come by here and pick me up.
Okay.
Because Mel's actually going to revivify my new car.
He's got Don sold a Porsche. He bought a Porsche, so maybe.
Yeah.
So we're going to polish it up, make it look good, and get it all sharp.
Yeah. And this will be my second car that I brought over to Mel to revivify. And I tell everybody, and I told Rick this a little while ago, that the job that you did on my Escalade was insane.
We had a lot of challenges. There was a lot of things. A lot of people have touched it, which when that happens, you get a lot of different looks to it. And so I just had to I had a Perry Potter wand. I had that little wand. You didn't know this, but when you pulled it in, you left. I just put the wand over it, and then just said, "Okay, it's done. Come and get it."
I had a couple. I don't want to say I had accidents because I didn't hit other cars. I hit a trash dumpster, and I hit a planter pot, and did some pretty big scratches to my car. So it didn't require any body work, but it required paint work, repaint work. And when I brought the car over to Mel, he goes, "What happened here? What happened there?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, that paint is kind of dull right there, and that's not very good right there either. In fact, there's like little bubbles in it, and I think I can get all those things out." And it was the left rear of my car was after he pointed it out to me.
Well, you were going to have it repainted. Because it was that bad. You said I was going to have my guy repaint it before I did my work. And I don't know. Maybe I better take a look at it.
Yeah. No, and it was, like I say, it was insane how
well, thank you.
How great it came out.
A lot of people are hearing this. Hey, you guys, come to my shop.
And I'm not just saying that. I loved it so much. I'm bringing a 2004 Porsche Turbo over here on Tuesday, and I'm
gonna drive you. And I'm gonna drive you over the golf.
Then he's gonna drop me off.
What kind of golf tournament? Now is that service or what?
Absolutely.
Bring your car to me. I'll take you to go play golf. When you come back after playing golf, the car will be all done.
I can't depend on your co-host here to come get me. So
I'm driving a big truck to the event. Okay. I set up all the sound. You believe me, I'm the setup guy.
So I'll take that as a no.
Okay. Don's the setup guy.
I got to be there at 6.
That's early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don's not just a setup guy. He's like the setup guy.
The man.
Yeah, he's the man. If there's an event going on, he's setting it up. It's just how it rolls.
He's involved one way or the other.
I don't know how he does it. I talk about it to my wife all the time. I sit there and I see him in action. I'm like, fuck, how's he do that?
Can you say that? Can you say that word on your podcast?
When he's referring to me, he can't say the F word.
Okay.
I think everyone can see that Butch has a really congenial disposition, but he's probably one of the hardest working city council members. A lot of people promise that they're going to get in there and work hard for the for the public and for the residents. Yeah. And Butch walks the walk. He's out there. He's there every single day working hard for the city.
Butch, that's one of the most unique things about you when I first met you, how approachable you are. In this community, we have a lot of superstars. We have a lot of people that have really accomplished, especially a lot of the big time surfers here, especially, the bigger name guys. And there's a lot of guys that have egos.
Right.
And it's almost hard sometimes to talk to some of them. And the ones that are the humble, because they're the ones that just anybody can walk up to and you start shooting the shit with them. Right. And that's how it was with you when I first met you. And you walk away from a conversation with you, and I felt like you gave me your undivided attention. And that was when Rick, when I first started meeting you, I was hanging around Rick. And I even told Rick, I go, wow, what a great guy, because it's really important that, especially when you're a leader. Trust me, I know the shots that are coming from the other direction. Yep. It's a lot, the more your name builds, the more leadership you gather up on yourself, the more negativity that comes with that. So we know when you're a leader what you take. But I just wanted you to know that.
Well, thanks.
Duke was another guy. He's one of those surfers that, he's made a big name for himself. He's got a family legacy, and he's one of those guys you can just walk right up to and start shooting the shit with. Yeah. He's really cool. I mean, his wife Val is amazing. Just to sit and talk. PT. We're having breakfast, and not only did he just come walking by, he saw us and stopped.
Right.
And just to say, hey, how's it going, Mel? How's it going, Karen? That's the kind of cool thing that, we have the other side too. We have the ego where people are hard to talk to. You can't approach them.
They'll just walk by you.
Yeah, stuff like
that.
They
might.
Hey,
keep going. Yeah. I don't have time for you right
now. You're right. The humble. That's the humble part.
Oh, absolutely.
People notice that. They
Remind me not to do that to
you. That Don guy. Well, you can't talk to him for nothing.
Well, I credit my parents, especially my father, for how he raised me. My dad was very congenial, and everybody loved him. Everybody at the company called him Mr. T. And then when he passed away, and I bought the company, these people started calling me Mr. T. I'm going, no, it's Butch. Yeah. And people appreciated that. I didn't, I always had an open door policy. I get phone calls from constituents wanting to talk about something. I go, why don't you come on up? Well, when can I come up there? I said, I'm here all the time.
Wow, very good.
And, I said, don't come before like 9:30, and don't come after 5. But you can come in any time in between. I'm there, and so I have pretty much a steady stream of people coming in and sitting down and shooting the shit, and even some of the people that don't like me, and when they leave.
They have a different impression.
I won't say names, but they're actually very, very well-known haters of everything that, say, the Fab Four and maybe even us to a certain extent believe. But they walk out of there and they go, I didn't know you were this kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And like I say, I learned that from my dad. Be nice to everybody. I don't hate anybody. I might hate what they say or hate what they stand for, but I don't. They're humans.
Life's too short.
It is.
Yeah, life's too short. There's one of the things that we try to end this. I know you got to get going too.
No,
so
I got time.
One of the things that we really like to do with the business side of this is what Don and I really are trying to push in this show is to build the community. And there's a lot of businesses in Huntington Beach. Most of them small businesses, as you know, small business community. We do got a couple good sized business, but a lot of us small business owners here in Huntington Beach, and there's some of them right now struggling. A lot of fear in the business world right now. A lot of people struggling. A lot of people very indecisive of what they want to do and what they're thinking about doing. So, as a successful businessman yourself, what kind of advice can you give the listeners out there in Huntington Beach that are listening to this show? Because right now they're really confused and what the hell's going on out there. And I'm one of them. I own 3 businesses and they're small. And you think about what decisions should I be making right now.
Before you answer that, I want to say one thing about that. It goes hand in foot with that. As nice of a guy as Butch is, when he puts his game face on, he puts his game face on. When he took over his father's company, it was a $7 million a year company revenue-wise. By the time he sold it, it was what, $85 million?
80 mil.
80 million.
Wow, yeah.
So, and what that illustrates is that he's a great team builder. He gets the most out of a lot of different people, even though they come in from different perspectives, right? And he gets things done. So when this guy has his game face on, you can see it, and he gets it done. And I think with that, share your recipe.
In fact, that's actually a good tip, because what he just said is your game face goes on. Because one of the things I know about you, when you go have fun, you have fun. But you have balance,
right?
Which is important.
Balance in life is very important.
It's everything. It's everything. But go ahead, hit us with your best shot.
Well, I've actually
that's a topic you could talk forever on. But
I could. In fact, when I retired, I started this little business, and it was I was going to counsel. I counsel young entrepreneurs on how to save money, be successful. Save a nest egg so that you don't have to rely on Social Security. And what I did as I was growing up as a young man, a young business executive, all the way until I got old and retired. And but also, and how do you get to that point? And for me, it's really simple. First off, let me digress. One of the things that I like to do most as a city councilman is I attend, and the chamber will tell you this. I attend a ton of their events. I go to their breakfasts, get to Golden West College at 7:30 in the morning. I invite somebody, a new business owner, that may not have a membership or hasn't joined the chamber. I invite them to come to the breakfast. I talk to the people at the chamber, especially people I know over there like Sean. I said, hey, can you give instead of the obligatory minute of introduction that they give everybody, can you maybe give them 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, because I really believe in their company.
Wow!
And
way to go,
so they did that just recently at the last breakfast with the Iorifos, Debbie and Tommy Iorifo, who own Rio Media, which is an advertising company above Jack's on Main and PCH. And they basically started Rio Media recently, and they won a big contract with the city that I might have had a little influence on because I really believe in what they're doing, and they're local. They're bidding against a couple large advertising companies, and but we gave them we voted to give them the contract. I took the Euphorios to the last chamber meeting. I've taken others before, previous to that. I do a lot of the grand openings. In fact, most of the time I'm the only one at the grand opening.
Yeah.
And then I talk to the business owners. Like yesterday, we were at a new Pilates studio up on Edinger and Cher, right across the street from Bellaterra in the parking lot where Dick's is. And I said, they're opening up right now. Yesterday was the soft opening, but they have an issue right now over there in that anybody that's driven up Gothard recently, right up the street here, it's hell getting to Edinger.
All that
going
traffic,
up Gothard.
all that construction. Yeah.
And so I was talking to him about that yesterday. I said, I'm gonna go to Public Works tomorrow and find out why that's taken so long and when it's going to open, when Gothard's going to open up. And I'll call you back and I'll let you know when that's going to open, because it's really kind of a main feeder to their Pilates studio.
Wow.
But
It's actually Gothard is actually the roadway that, especially during the summer, Beach gets packed, Golden West gets packed, and Gothard, all the locals use. Yeah.
And the police.
Actually,
and fire.
Yeah.
there's a back way into that, and I'm not going to share that with you, but there is a back way where you come out right in between the shopping center where the
hotel.
No, the good things store is, whatever that is, and then Dick's.
There's a spot there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I came up that street.
Talking about Michael's?
Yeah,
right by Michael's. Yeah.
Between those two streets, you can come out. You got to go through that neighborhood, and it's off Gothard. It's off
Slater.
No, it's off Heil.
Yeah, not Slater's down there. Heil.
Yeah.
It's off Heil.
Yeah, you go up Heil and you make a right, or just after Gothard, you make a left, and then you're on Roan, and you follow Roan in.
Yeah.
And it goes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I went by Roan and then I made a left and I went by
Yeah.
Circle View. There's a
Yeah,
school.
Yes.
That's the school. That's not
Yeah.
Circle View. That's
College View.
no, it's Summer View or something.
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I forget.
All right. I didn't.
That's
I-
where
That's
his
the school,
place
yeah.
is.
It's closed. There's no sign there. I was trying
No.
to figure out what the school was.
There's a little park right there.
There is
on
a
the
little
right
park, yeah.
inside, and a
Little
couple
park.
apartments, and then you come right out right there, so you don't have to fight that traffic.
Anyway, that's how I got there yesterday.
Oh yeah.
My
We're dissecting the neighborhood. That's HB Unplugged, you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, that's some good stuff right there. Let me tell you. Good TV. Yeah. So anyway, I like to go to those, but I think I have to go back to how my dad taught me, and that is you treat everybody with respect. I mean, for me, my clients were my friends, and I didn't just call my clients when they had a project coming up. I would do a project with them, and they may not have another project for 2 or 3 years, but I call them like every month, because
Just to stay in touch.
just to stay in touch. Because I remember having, when I was much younger, I called this guy and we did a huge project for him, and then I didn't talk to him for a really long time, and then I called him and he goes, "You're like a rusty penny." He says, you just come around when there's something to be done. I haven't even heard from you in 2 years, and that stuck with me. So in that business area, that works really well. But like the Pilates shop, it's just they're going to have to advertise. They're going to have to provide a service there, and I truly believe these guys will. They even talked me into joining. I have never done 1 second of Pilates, but I'm going to go there.
And try it out, yeah.
Oh, I'm
I
absolutely
want to go
going.
back to what you said, because you just resonated something with me. You were talking about how, you have a client, and instead of just, okay, we did your project, see you later, you said you stay in touch with them. So many small businesses don't do that. They don't realize, for me, for example, I get a car in here and it's a customer. I've always taught this in all my classes, that once I have a customer, I have a friend. I've done Don's car, I've done and I create friendships off that, and we do stay in touch. A lot of businesses don't know that the everyday business they do, what you just said, you're saying collect that data, collect that business information,
Right.
and stay in touch with those, because those are people, if they were happy with your service the first time, they're going to come back for more.
And they'll
right?
share it with their friends and
Yeah.
neighbors.
Isn't that what you just said?
Well, you're my friend, and I tell everybody about Revivify.
Yeah.
I say, you want to see the results? Come look at my car, and let me tell you how bad the left rear fender was before he revivified that. Because
Well, that's what paint correction. The Revivify is a coating product.
Yeah,
After I make the paint look
Yeah.
good, then I protect it.
right,
Yeah.
right. So I tell people, you're my friend, and that's why I drove home Tuesday in this new Porsche, and I called you immediately and said, when can you get me in?
Yeah.
Well, first I call and say, hey, how much for the Porsche? And you told me. I go, okay, when can I bring it?
Yeah.
and
Don't give that price to anybody else, by the way.
no, I won't tell anybody. Yeah, no, my son's going to bring his
cool.
his Range Rover Sport over to you, which is black.
Max.
All you guys buy
Yeah.
these black cars, It's like that Audi out there.
Yeah.
Saying,
Yeah.
It's like the kiss of death. They're so hard to keep looking good.
Friends like to do business with friends.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
like-
I mean, in my business, I had a lot of competitors, but none of my competitors were friends with my clients.
Yeah. Like I said, you do good business, you got a friend forever
Right.
if you do it right. Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
Well, Don, you got anything else to add? You've been kind of quiet a little
No,
bit.
it's nice to listen to Butch talk and tell us a little bit about his past and his present and who he is and what he's
How
about.
long have you guys known each other?
We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. You do. I know that. How long have you guys known each other?
I've known Butch not really that long, probably 2,
3 years, maybe?
yeah, maybe 3 years.
He was pretty famous, so he wouldn't talk to me. I was
Oh,
nuts.
so he's that guy I was talking about earlier. The one you want to walk up to and talk to, and he won't talk to you?
Right. No, I had nothing to offer him.
Yeah, no, we talked. Once I realized right after I met him, he told me, he went to Marina, and it just kind of clicked right there. But
No, Don and Jim, in fact, the Ramsey brothers, all of them, I mean,
Yeah.
they're all good guys. They're those guys you can walk up to and shoot the shit with. And I remember how many times Karen would walk up to Don all frustrated about not being able to find a bus. And he would always just encourage her, you just got to keep looking until you find what you want. And
That's it.
yeah, it's all creating friendships that way.
I continue to look at Volkswagen buses, and when I find one that I kind of think is a good one, I'll usually send it to him. And hey, what do you think about this? How much do you think this thing is worth? Because I get on this. There's a bidding website for cars, and VW buses come up all the time on it.
You see that one that sold for $197, I think it was.
yeah,
On the auction block.
yeah,
That's
It was
crazy.
like 197,000.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just started at like 50,000, and it just kept going and going, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah,
What is that on one of the websites that I get
No.
on?
it was on Barrett Jackson. It was
Yeah,
on, it was
Barrett,
on the
but
auction block. Beautiful bus. Beautiful.
I saw a few years ago. I saw them sell a bus for a little over 300,000.
Wow.
They must have put some awesome engine in it.
No, it was just. It was a very rare bus, but it was in super mint condition.
Yeah.
The way it looked, and I remember thinking $300,000.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's how Karen and I look at it. Like it's our little investment,
Yeah.
We bought it. It's so funny because you can cruise down the street in a Ferrari, a Maserati, a high-end Porsche, high-end BMW, and you might get somebody to look at it. But we drive down the street in that bus, and oh my God, there's people they'll be going like this. Wait a minute, and they're digging in their purse to get their
For their
camera
phone.
because they want to take a video as you drive them by or something. There's so many thumbs up we get all the time.
That's the truth.
So you got to get a bus and join us. Become part of the Cowabunga Van Clan. Hey, we'll let you in.
He hasn't invited me yet.
That is not true. He's walked up and down the pier. He blew his mind. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one sometime. I got 4 cars right now. I got to get rid of 1 or 2 of them before I get the bus.
Well, this has been a great episode, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And Butch, thank you so much. I know you're busy, got a lot on your plate, and it's been an honor to have you here today.
No, this was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And it was my honor to be here. Plus, I got to hang around with 3 of my good friends.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's
awesome.
So that's what AP, that's what Huntington Beach is all about.
Does it get better than that?
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
No, we live in paradise. I'm Mel Craig,
I'm Don Ramsey.
and thanks for joining us for another episode of HB Unplugged. Woohoo! All right.
Andy.